Hello again, I'm Taria Wild Rose. In my first video on YouTube, I spoke to the left-hand path of the feminine Christ, where I weaved in my personal story with my own inner gnosis, my inner knowing, which we all have, and I weaved it into the book called The Left-Hand Path of the Feminine Christ by Saren and Azra Bertrand. Today, I would like to focus more on the role of sexuality and how it has been distorted, inverted, and perverted throughout the ages, especially since the patriarchal Catholic reign that we've been under, some will say way more than 2,000 years. So, sexuality is a very primal, potent force of knowing ourselves. In the goddess traditions, there was sacred sexual priestesses, usually initiated by the temple of Mari Isis, Mari meaning mother, so Mother Isis, in the ancient Egyptian pantheon. And these sacred sexual priestesses would work in temples and give any of their earnings to the temple. Sexuality was seen as a way to infuse the land. It was an offering to the earth, the land, to support her fecundity, to support her giving life to life. And sexuality was sacred and revered as a way of knowing ourselves, as a way of experiencing what we know to be sacred union within our body temple. And many Indian tantric traditions, tantric Buddhism also speak to this path of union through sexuality. We see it in many ancient temples where literally the iconography is of these Kama Sutra positions, which is it acts like a code to decode how we can experience ourselves as sovereign, as whole, as powerful, as primal through the act of sex. And as we know, sex over the centuries has become diminished, demoralized, de, mm, dehumanized in many ways. So, sacred sexual energy, otherwise we could understand it as the Kundalini life force energy, the force upon which the earth creates life. And it is said to be lying dormant at the base of all of our spines. And that's where we get the imagery of the snake coiled up upon itself at the base of our spine and the perineum. And upon awakening of this energy, and in my last video, I spoke that my Kundalini energy was awakened in 2016 when I went to that Buddhist retreat, where all of a sudden I had this indescribable heat, this fire in my belly. And it was the beginning of a journey that is not to be romanticized because it's not completely romantic. It is a journey where this energy desires to ascend up through the chakras. So Shakti in Indian tantric practices awakens at the base of the spine and goes on her journey through the chakras, desiring to meet Shiva in the temple of our heart space. So we bring what is otherwise known as lower energies, not because it's bad, although in our current understanding in patriarchal context, it has been portrayed or perceived as a bad, dark feminine energy, but desires to rise up into our heart, thereby opening our heart chakra, dissolving any defenses along the way in this journey from the root to the sacral to the solar plexus to the heart, And she will continue on through the higher heart, which is a chakra many people don't know about, by the thymus, into the throat chakra, and into the third eye, uniting with Shiva. There's a story that I love where Shakti is dancing around through all the dimensions, and she's twirling and whirling and swirling, and she stops for a moment and she's like, Shiva, Shiva, where are you? Where are you? She's feminine energy, so she's wild, she's all over the place. She's expansive and erratic and ecstatic, and but she has a moment of awareness where she's like, Shiva, where are you? And Shiva calmly, in his contained masculine presence, this holding presence for what would otherwise be this wild and fluid energy, he is the container upon which she can move and thrive, and says, I'm right here. I'm right here. Consciousness speaking to energy in form, letting her know that he hasn't gone anywhere. He is that which holds her magnitude, holds her wildness. So, transitioning now into the path of Maria Magdalena, from the demonized feminine, as we know in Catholicism, where Maria Magdalena was left out of the story of Christ, what we know to be the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus, left out of the story, where now she's welcomed back into the story. You know, we have her feast day now recognized by the Catholic Church on July 22nd, and that only happened in 2016. Was it 16? You know, I might need to confirm that in the writing below, where now she's elevated to the apostle of the apostles. So she's elevated to her sainthood. This is still not good enough. Why? Because let's not take away from the fact that Maria Magdalena is a wild feminine force who moves in and through our sexual energy, the lusty, desirous energy that, when brought up into the heart, becomes a whole new elevated experience that we can have access to. So we don't want to be so quick to now put her up into sainthood, because once again, we are maintaining the path of the good girl, controllable feminine. She's saintly. What do we think about when we think of saints? We think of goodness. That's not to take away from the fact that Maria Magdalena was good and spiritual, holy, wild, and holy. But we want to caution moving her from the demonized feminine left out of the story to now the apostle of the apostles in her sainthood, once again keeping her in the confines of the good girl. And so, as an archetype, a mythology that can inform our own path, give us a map of unlocking our own path to wholeness, we do not want to deny the wild, holy Shakti of our being. And it doesn't matter your gender identity. We all have access to the Maria Magdalena within us. And we connect with her through our primal Shakti, life force energy. We connect with her through our lustful fecundity of our sexual energy. The problem becomes when this energy is left out of the story, it goes into the shadows. And that is when harm happens. For example, when you have a priesthood of Catholic priests and other fundamental religions where sexuality is left out, you know, they're not able to get married, it's left out of the story, then we have the shadow trying to find a way to manifest itself. And this is where harm, like sexual abuse, comes in. This is where we try to dominate sexual energy. This is where rape consciousness comes in. We want to have power over the energy instead of power with, instead of being in relationship with the power of our sexual energy. So there's more to share, and I would love to just invite an experience of your Shakti fire. So please join me here if it feels good to you. The invitation is to close your eyes. If it feels good for you, you can make the upside down womb mudra triangle. And this is for men and women. Men have something called a hara, which is connected to the collective cosmic womb consciousness. So staying with your breath, then breathing into your hara, your womb, relaxing your genitalia, relaxing your perineum, relaxing your anus, and just taking a few moments to breathe with this sacred space. You might imagine that you have roots connecting to your pelvic floor. For men, they would connect to your testes. For women, self-identified women, these roots would connect to your cervix, to your perineum, and to your anus. And now as you stay with the breath, intending that your roots descend down, deep down into the core, the womb of Mother Earth, the Kundalini fire of Mother Earth. Your roots descend down into her sacred waters, her anointing waters. And just resting here for a moment as your roots go into these waters and start to source this energy and breathe it up into your womb, your hara, your pelvic bowl, if that resonates more for you. Every breath is filling up your bowl with life force energy in all four directions. Divine Mother, thank you for this day. Thank you for this opportunity to connect and deeply source from your well, from the waters of life. Thank you for all that you give to us so generously. Thank you for how you birth life. Thank you for how you enliven every cell, every tissue, every organ with the power of your lush love, your wild, holy, Shakti, feminine love. We call upon Maria Magdalena. We ask you to bless and consecrate our womb, our hara, our pelvic bowl with the power of the remembrance, the restoration of the sacred feminine within our body temple. Just allowing this energy to fill you up. You might feel a warmth infusing this whole area of your pelvis, your pelvic floor, your back, your hips, allowing it to feel pleasurable. You might circulate your hips just ever so slightly or gently rock them back and forth. Every inhale, you could sip up and squeeze your pelvic floor. And then we're going to sip her up through the central channel, through the spinal column, as if you're sipping up through a straw. Sounds like this. Squeezing the pelvic floor and allowing it to expand in all four directions in your heart, opening up your heart with a ah. And again, squeezing the pelvic floor and ah. This is an activation and unlocking. One more time. We want to activate sacred union. Thank you for the activation of sacred union, our own unique synergy of our feminine and masculine energies in harmony, lighting up new pathways for remembrance, for our highest timeline, for the desires in our heart, mind, body, and spirits, perhaps the ones that we struggle to speak out loud. Resting your hands on your heart now. Resting here for a moment, really tuning into the sacred temple of your heart. And then bringing the awareness to the crown of your head, the crown of your head opening up to receive the divine masculine. Whatever name resonates for you is perfect. It could be the universe, it could be Father Sky, it could be Creator, it could be God, it could be Jesus. And allowing this warm energy to descend down upon the crown of your head, relaxing your facial muscles, relaxing your neck and your shoulders and your arms, going down into your amygdala, your cerebellum, your brainstem, like warm honey cascading down through the sphere of your spine, all the way down into the base of your spine. And resting with the feminine energy of the earth within your heart temple. Taking a moment to rest in presence. There's no greater gift you could give to yourself, to your family, to your community, to your beloved, if you're in a relationship or intend to call in your person, than to practice this inner harmony and presence. You might extend your energy out towards me to notice the sounds around you in your space, and then call it all back to you. Extending out and calling it back. And then starting to bring a little bit of movement into your fingers and your toes. You might yawn like me. That's just a great indication of the rest and digest activating any energy that's moving in you, clearing with yawns. And fluttering your eyes open back into our shared space. So, this is just a taster of what I curate in containers in my Extraordinary Relationships program, which is for long-term couples whose relating has become more polite and efficient, functional, let's say, than enlivening and passionate and palpable. You know that? You ever been around couples and you can just feel them? You can feel the energy moving between them. You can feel the palpability of their connection. That's intimacy. That's a couple that is committed to believing in a new relational template for themselves. And that's what I curate in a playful and fun way. I am an expert in many different modalities, including subconscious reprogramming. I'm a trained somatic therapist. I am initiated in Tantra, so all of this energy work that clears out the density. We can't get what we want in love until we're willing to dissolve the walls that block intimacy. And this happens on all levels. And particularly, we need to get into relationship with the imprints within ourselves that are blocking what we say we want. And it doesn't matter how many books you read or how much talk therapy you do, this is an energetic transmission where all of the memories and somatic therapy, all the memories and the incomplete cycles in the nervous system that are trying to come to completion need to have a safe space for the nervous system to feel relaxed enough in order for these memories and trauma stories to come to completion. From a tantric level, I work with all of the chakras, and the chakras have both light and dark aspects. And the energetic imprints that are blocking our intentions, our goals in love, need to be faced, felt, forgiven, and met so that they can dissolve and we can claim for ourselves a new story. And so 95% of what is showing up in our life, many of us know, is not happening from our conscious brain. The healing happens when our conscious brain is in service to our heart, when our conscious brain becomes quiet enough to allow our subconscious to let us know what's really going on. So this is some of the beauty. We also do breath work, miracle heart field breath work, somatic touch therapy, which is a hands-on treatment that helps to metabolize the stored memories and traumas in a tangible way. Brains love this tangible experience. And also my elevating intimacy for singles, where you get to practice with me what it's like to show up, be authentic and vulnerable, and attune your nervous system to have capacity to be with all the things that show up in relationship. To be that steady, stable presence that is felt. There's a communication that happens beyond our words. It's called neuroception from a somatic therapy lens, where our nervous systems are constantly communicating with each other. And even if I'm angry and I tell you I'm fine, you're going to feel that I'm not really fine. And so the communication is that your defense needs to come up. So this is why this work is so important, because when we are truly in resonance with ourselves, then our nervous system communicates openness, safety, love, connection. So come, if any of this interests you, you can check out my website and let's go. I'm an initiated priestess. I hold and support you to unlock your own inner intelligence, to unlock these codes If you are interested in this video, then there is a sacred union path that awaits you and is inviting you to go deeper. But we need help. Everybody needs help, right? I have my own support in life. A coach needs a coach. Because this is the beauty of becoming an elite athlete or a master at something is you have somebody who has a few steps further along on the path who can show you and give, more importantly, give your nervous system an experience and your chakras an experience of what it's like to be a person that is capable of true, palpable intimacy. Okay, until next time, loves. Bye.